This was a mighty vessel. Wow. Like Dan said, you really just wish you could sit back in time and see what this was like actually back in its day. It would have been a pretty neat thing to ride.
My name is Dan Verhalle. I work for Parks Canada, and my job is looking after the SS Klondike and the Chilkoot Trail, and I work for Visitor Experience. The SS Klondike is a stern wheeler, and right now we're right in Whitehorse in the Yukon, and she's an important vessel because she's a National Historic Site, and she represents a whole era of riverboat travel on this river, the Yukon, that started all the way in 1866 and ended with her last voyage in 1955. The primary run for the SS Klondike, of course, was from Whitehorse to Dawson, and Dawson back to Whitehorse. She'd be going to Dawson to deliver freight and groceries and all kinds of things to Dawson in the spring and the summer, and on the return trip she'd pick up about 300 tons of silver lead ore at Stewart Landing, back to Whitehorse and onto the railway cars are owned by White Path Yukon Railway all the way back to Skagway to be smelted. She operates with a big steam locomotive boiler that holds about 4,000 gallons of water, and she burnt wood, and a lot of wood. Took her about a day and a half to get to Dawson with the current, and she'd burn about 40 cords of wood, and on the return trip against the current she'd probably burn about 120 cords. So that's a lot of wood, a lot of physical work. At the boiler you had the fireman, and that was the fellow who actually stoked the boiler. Now there were 3 of them, and they would work 4 hours on, 8 hours off, because the work was so physically demanding and hot. So they would be throwing a fairly good chunk of wood in there every 30 seconds every minute. Now along to support that were the deckhands and the mates. So every 50 miles or so downriver, they'd have to load up and restock with about 25 cords of wood as they traveled. So a lot of activity, a lot of physical backbreaking work.